that collaborative element of film where you're taking all of these visual things, and it's not only the explicit visual content, but it's also it's not only the explicit, like it's not only the things that you see on screen that are right there, the actors, but it's also the set design and the symbolism they're putting into it. And I remember in junior high and high school, kids would always complain in English class when professors or teachers would talk about symbolism in books, where they would, like, a room is colder and dark, or it has blue curtains or something, and that's to symbolize some kind of a milieu of depression or sadness or anxiety or something, and everyone would complain about that. But then as I grew older and watched more and more film, I was so much more appreciative of understanding those things, because it adds just a whole other layer of complexity. Same with one example is the having some kind of window frame where the main character will be in a predicament where they're trapped, and then the lighting will show a shadow on them, and the shadow will be in bars, and it'll look like they're in a prison.
Yeah.
And it's things like those that make, they're very subtle, but they can add so much value to the photo or to the film. And then in that same way, music is the same. The best films always have just unbelievable scores that drag you into it. I remember I was in a psychology of the auditory system. I was in a class for that, and we watched Lord of the Rings, the scene where they're in Moria. Yeah, it's so good. That's my favorite movie trilogy. That's probably my favorite three movies in the world.
Soundtracks too, like the music in that, it's amazing.
Yeah, well, we watched first without the audio the scene where the Fellowship is running from the Balrog in Moria.
Oh yeah.
And then we just watched it without the music, and then we just listened to it, and then we listened to it and watched it. And the music tells such a story that it's almost more powerful than just the visual of the film.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Because like it really adds that emotion to it. Like, and even like vice versa. Like what did I watch yesterday? I was watching something yesterday, and it literally, I had to rewind it because I was like, oh my God, what was it? I really want to bring that up because it was really cool. What did I watch? Anyways, it was just like a fight scene, but like it was like music the whole time, and then as soon as this fight scene came up, it just music cuts, and there's no music, and it's just the rain, and it's just the punching. And I was like, Jesus Christ, like this is way better. That, you know what I mean? Like I was just, then I literally rewinded it because I was like, yeah, there's no music, and it just gave me chills. And I was like, this is awesome. And I love shit like that when, you can, and it probably would have been ruined if they kept the music going, because it just would have been more, you don't need it sometimes, you know what I mean? Because like, it really amped it, because like it amped you up as it was happening, but as soon as they went in for the, like, just hand to hand, cut, no music, and it's just they're just the raw sounds of the fight. I'm just, it was nuts. Almost felt like a bass drop, but it wasn't. It was just it was really cool. So it definitely does impact it a lot in many ways. It's very interesting, and like, there's a lot of things, like even like themes. Like I miss themes and stuff too, which I feel like are missing. Like now, you know what I mean? Like,
they're dead. They're all dead.
Yeah, exactly. Like Back to the Future, Jurassic Park, Star Wars, like off the top of your head, you know where those are from. And it's like, what movies nowadays, like, can you think of a theme of, like, that's a big movie? Like, you know what I mean? Like Avengers, I kind of know, but then like every other Marvel movie, it's like, what the fuck? There's no music.
Yeah.
It's just the most basic stuff. It's just weird. It just feels like it's, flatlining. It does nothing. Yeah, it's interesting. So yeah. Just like, I'm just trying to remember just like scenes from like some Avengers films where it's like there's just, orchestra music as an action scene's happening. I'm like, this probably would be kind of cooler without that orchestra. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know, just kind of interesting because it just feels so flat.
Yeah.
But then you have some scenes where it just totally changes it when there is that music. It feels better. Like Endgame. Sorry, that's I keep bringing up Avengers. Endgame is like that one scene when fucking you've seen it, right? I can spoil.
Yeah,
I'm gonna spoil Endgame
do it.
when he
If you
grabs the
haven't seen
goddamn
Endgame
hammer.
yet, brutal.
Yeah, right. Like
Yeah,
fuck you if you haven't seen Endgame.
exactly.
um, yeah, when he's just like Avengers assemble, and
Yeah,
like there's no music, and then as soon as everyone starts screaming, the theme comes up, and I just come like that's like you know what I mean? Like that's
yeah,
film. That's
yeah,
film there.
yeah.
So yeah.
Every now and then I'll go back and watch the scene where in A New Hope, where Luke goes out to the desert to decide whether or not he's gonna go on his hero's journey, and
Dude,
he's looking out over the desert landscape, and there's the
two
bi
moons or whatever.
solar, yeah, you can see like
Yeah,
both the suns are setting in the background.
it's
The
so
score for
beautiful.
that is just, it's one of my favorites. I'll just go and listen to it anytime I want goosebumps.
I'm vividly, I know the whole scene now in my head. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's so good.
It's so, and I think that a part of that is the connection that we make between sounds and images and all of these, like these different sensory experiences that we have. I think that
Hmm.
sound is one of those things that combines all of those together. Like I hear that
Definitely.
song and I see it in front of me. And
Yeah.
there, same thing with Lord of the Rings. There are songs where I wouldn't be able to tell you, if I were to play the movie through and through, I wouldn't be able to tell you what songs go in what scenes. But if you play a song for me from any of the Lord of the Rings, any of the soundtracks, I'll be able to tell you exactly where it goes.
Oh yeah.
I can see it. It's in front of my eyes instantly. And I find that so interesting, that to have a good solid film, to have the best film, you need a good soundtrack.